1999, Eminem exploded onto the world stage with his first album, the Slim Shady LP. He instantly became the focus of countless magazine articles, news items and television programmes. His astounding record sales soon earned him the crown of the most successful hip-hop artist of all time.
It's like the appeal of Tiger Woods. You're just looking at this white guy doing rap, but he's really good. He's sort of not supposed to be there. There's something like almost train wreck quality that's fascinating about it.
We see this guy who has our problems and who, in a really clever and creative way, with great music and with amazing use of wordplay, goes out against all the people who've been bothering us and he clobbers them.
He always used words, for instance, that people don't use. There's so many words that, you know, he picked out of the English dictionary that rhyme and sound a certain way that you just didn't hear in hip-hop.
His subsequent albums, feature film and record label have created an empire which has solidified his status as a truly unique superstar. This is the story of Eminem's empire. Eminem's rise to superstardom started somewhat inauspiciously in Warren, Michigan, a Detroit suburb with a declining economy and where jobs were becoming scarce.
His mom, as far as we know, is very intermittently held jobs, so it was always kind of a rough living. They were either in, Detroit is very sort of racially divided, and they were either in kind of the poor white side of town or oftentimes in the inner city black side of town.
For the most part, she was taking him throughout the metro area. He's lived in the suburbs. Some of the suburbs, wherever he lived, would always be in more of a predominantly black area. Even in almost entirely white suburbs, whenever they'd find a place, it would be in more of the minority area. Maybe because it was just more affordable. But certainly that made an impression on him. It was an upbringing where there was a lot of extended family around, grandparents, uncles, and boyfriends. His mother's been married several times, had boyfriends, and it was probably not as stable a household as most kids had, not just because of the coming and going of different people, but because of the constant moving around, sort of the rootlessness, the inability to settle in and really get comfortable in one place.
Eminem's family background has become an integral part of the rap star's persona, with his mother becoming the subject of some of his most visceral lyrics. However, the precise nature of their relationship is still very much in debate.
Well, Eminem's home life has been much debated, mostly by he and his mom. There's very different versions that were out there, and they were from the beginning. His oeuvre is sort of half of it, well, all of it's based on his life. Half of it is based on his upbringing and his mother, which by his telling was just, she's like a pill-popping, drunk, chain-smoking nightmare, who yelled at him, would take all the money he made in the factory and go play bingo with it, and had a different boyfriend every week. He's gone as far to say that she would start dating guys and have them move into their house or their trailer where they often lived, just to get the furniture. And then she'd sort of break up with them after their furniture was in and kick them out.
His relationship with his mother was always very close-knit. His mother was like a wasp watching over the nest, okay? If you even looked at Marshall sideways in traffic or in a department store, I mean, my sister would literally just verbally rip you apart. He was so overprotective. Me and her got into fights over the Happy Meal thing, okay? It came with a toy, but he had to have the extra toy, okay? And it's like, you know, she's digging for change in her purse to buy this kid the extra toy. You know, I mean, it's just devastating. So we would get into arguments. So, you know, Debbie, you know, you got the toy in the He-Man, you know, the little package you got here, the Happy Meal. Oh no, you shut up, you stay out of this. Okay, I'll stay out of this. And he's spoiled. They had they were really close. That's all they had was each other for so long.
Her version, when I interviewed her, was that she brought him up in a drug and tobacco and alcohol-free household. She always put food on the table. She was always really supportive of his rap career, you know, his skills. And that she had no idea where any of his criticisms or any of the things he said, and, you know, cleaning out my closet, for example, she has no idea where that stuff came from. And, you know, as a result, she sued him. I guarantee, just strictly the fact that she would sue her own son says a lot of things. And one of them is that they've been battling and not getting along for many years now, and that's sort of the culmination of it.
As the young Eminem matured, so too did his lifelong obsession with words.
Eminem first started dabbling with hip-hop and with rhymes and with just the whole sort of fledgling rap scene when he was rather young, when he would have been probably just becoming a teenager. He had a friend named Mike Ruby, who was one of a set of twins who was a little older than Eminem and had gotten in a car accident and gotten an insurance settlement. And with the money that he got, he formed what came to be known as basement productions, where in his basement he had some recording and some production equipment and just as many records as you can imagine. And what these guys would do, in the way that other kids might trade baseball cards or might play board games, they would listen to hip-hop. They would listen to music, and they would put together beats, they would put together rhymes. And Eminem is famous for scribbling all the time, always working out a better rhyme scheme, always working out a better cadence, always working out a more intricate rhyme that would double back on itself and connect and take you on this long journey, but still sort of make sense. And it was in these early days with his friends where they would kick these things around. It was almost like a clubhouse.
I think Eminem was drawn to hip hop because well, let's just face it, you know. I think people with a natural outlet find it, or the natural talent find their outlet. He always loved the sound of it, you know. He spent most of his life more often in black communities, so he heard it. He just loved it, you know. I mean, like everyone else when it was coming up in the 80s and heard the early Def Jam artists and like LL Cool J, and, you know, he heard Ice-T, Reckless. That's actually how he first heard it. His Uncle Ronnie brought him the Breakin' soundtrack, and Reckless was on there. It's a great song, and he heard that and he was pretty much hooked. He's also definitely a guy that, you know, likes words. You can tell he likes words by the types of rhymes he uses. Language definitely does something for him. So you've got this art form that's rebellious, that's independent, that's authentic, and combines this sort of love for words that I don't think he probably even knew he had. You know, he never liked school, but once he started rhyming, I mean, his mom always says that he used to sit up in his room when he got home from work and read the dictionary and just look for things to rhyme with things and just sit up there and write rhymes for 3 or 4 hours. You know, that's a guy who's discovering this new love for the language.